Hamas condemned U.S. strikes on Venezuela as a grave violation of international law, framing the operation as part of a wider pattern of American aggression. The Iran-backed group said Washington's actions amounted to the kidnapping of President Nicolas Maduro, accusing the U.S. of forcibly removing a sitting head of state from power. Hamas called the attack an assault on the sovereignty of an independent state, according to Press TV, and warned it undermines global norms on non-intervention. The group claimed that the U.S. strikes reflect America's unjust policies and imperial ambitions, accusing Washington of seeking control far beyond its borders. Hamas called on the United Nations Security Council to adopt resolutions confronting what it described as Washington's aggression and lawless behavior. The Gaza-based group demanded an immediate halt to the military assault on Venezuelan territory, urging international actors to step in without delay. Hamas said, and I quote, "We condemn in the strongest terms the American aggression against the Republic of Venezuela, and the kidnapping of President Maduro and his wife. We affirm that it represents a serious violation of international law, by attacking the sovereignty of an independent state. The aggression is an extension of the unjust American policies and interventions that hide behind them imperialist ambitions, which have plunged several countries into conflicts that pose a direct threat to international security and peace. We call on the international community, the United Nations and its institutions, particularly the Security Council, to take decisions, to confront the aggressive policies pursued by Washington, and to immediately stop the military attack on Venezuelan territory." Unquote. Palestinian Islamic Jihad also denounced the U.S. strikes on Venezuela as imperial aggression, echoing Hamas's language about foreign domination. PIJ said the U.S. strikes exposed clear intentions of domination, occupation, and coercion, accusing Washington of trying to impose its will on other nations. The assault constituted a blatant violation of international law and national sovereignty, PIJ declared, condemning the operation in strong terms. Interestingly, PIJ said Venezuela was targeted because it backed Palestinian resistance and refused to align with U.S. and Israeli policies. The group explicitly linked the attack on Caracas to its support for Palestinians under war, portraying the strikes as punishment for solidarity. In the statement, PIJ said, and I quote, "We condemn the vicious American aggression against the Republic of Venezuela and the attacks targeting its capital, Caracas, and its loyal people. These aggressive actions, which have escalated from naval blockades to direct military strikes, reveal intentions of hegemony, occupation, and forcible domination, and constitute a flagrant violation of international law and national sovereignty. They are an extension of imperialist policies aimed at subjugating peoples and plundering their resources. Today's targeting of Venezuela is a punishment for its steadfast international positions, particularly its historic and unwavering support for the Palestinian cause and resistance forces in our region, and its standing with our people against war crimes and genocide. The Venezuelan people's struggle for freedom and sovereignty is part of our nation's own battle against hegemony and neo-colonialism. Remember, Venezuela backed Palestinian resistance, including Hamas and PIJ, in 2025, strengthening ties with these groups. Maduro called Israel's Gaza assault genocide and openly praised armed resistance as a legitimate response to Israeli actions. Caracas framed Hamas and PIJ as legitimate resistance movements against what it called Israeli occupation, rejecting the terrorist label used by the US and allies. After months of tensions, the United States launched a large-scale strike inside Venezuela on January 3, escalating the confrontation dramatically. US strikes hit major bases, an airfield, signal antennas, and a key Venezuelan port, systematically targeting the country's military infrastructure. The strikes triggered widespread power and internet outages, sending the capital into chaos as communications and services were disrupted. Donald Trump announced that Nicolas Maduro and his wife were captured and flown out, declaring the mission a success from Washington's perspective. New York prosecutors then unsealed narco-terror charges, accusing the Maduros of cocaine trafficking and tying them to international drug networks.
25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.